So let's talk a little bit about how you can manage stress in your relationship. Number one is effective communication. Now, effective communication is critical, and it requires both self-awareness and a level of concern from both people, both parties in the relationship. So when you're expressing yourself, it's important for you to learn to identify your feelings, to identify your needs, and to express non-judgmentally your perception of the situation or circumstance. What happened, how you felt about it, what you would like to see happen. Now, one of the things that I like to help people learn is it's a strategy, it's a stress management strategy on how to communicate. So if you are trying to communicate something, an offense, or something that you didn't like that somebody said that you're in the relationship with, it's really important, it's really easy to point the finger, right? My mom always says, if you point one finger at somebody else, you're pointing 3 fingers back at you. Right? And so it's important for you to learn how to communicate. So when you make I feel statements, what it does is it really kind of disarms the other person in being defensive. So if I say to you, I can't believe you did this, you did this, you did that, right? I'm pointing the finger, right? Innately, naturally, sometimes people are going to be defensive. What do you mean I did? What do you mean I did this? So instead of saying, you did this, you did that, you can do an I feel statement where you can say, you know what? I felt really hurt when you said X, Y, and Z. I felt betrayed when you said, so right, you're saying I feel. What happens is it disarms the person, the recipient in the conversation. It disarms them from needing to be defensive when you start with I feel statements. So I felt this way when you said X, Y, and Z, or when you did this thing. It really is a technique that I want to encourage you to practice. And you can practice it with your children, practice it with your spouse, with your girlfriends, with your parents and your siblings. Practice it because once you get to a place of really communicating through I feel statements, people feel safe in your relationship with you. They feel safe having a conversation with you, and they don't have to fear confrontation because you are taking ownership and responsibility for how you feel and not blaming it on someone else. So that is a stress management strategy, is effective communication and learning how to communicate the level of stress that you may be dealing with. So let's talk about when you are dealing with high levels of stress. How are you communicating that to your spouse or to people in your life that interact with you on a daily basis, including children? I think it's important for us to be able to communicate our levels of stress to our children. They know, they realize, oh, Mom must have had a bad day. My kids have said to me before, Mom, are you tired? And I've had to say, oh no, I'm sorry. Did I say something or do something that made you think that? And they're like, well, no, or, you were a little snappy. And I'm like, and then I have to apologize because, again, then at that point, it's an opportunity for me to just express to them, you know what, you're right. I did have a tough day today, and I didn't mean to take it out on you. And let me just explain to you, this is what it is. Because now we're teaching them how to deal with stress, right? We're teaching them how to deal with stress based on how we are dealing with it. So it's important for you to get a handle on how you deal with stress because we're modeling stress management techniques to the people who love us and who are around us. The second strategy is active listening. Now, active listening is a great way to reduce stress in your relationship, especially when it comes to like one of the triggers of technology or, the triggers of where somebody doesn't feel heard in the relationship. When you put all of your attention on somebody who is trying to share something with you, it's communicating that you're important and what you're saying to me is important. So a conscious technique to help deal with emotional situations, it requires you to truly listen. It requires you to let go of judgment, let go of other distractions, put them down, put them away so that you can focus on what the person is saying. Now this, you would think, well, how is active listening an effective strategy for reducing stress? Well, if you think about it, when you are, let's just say you are one of those type of people who like to share your day or express what's going on in your day, and the person that you're sharing it with is watching TV, they're on their phone, they're trying to, oh, look at this. Now, mind you, you're pouring your heart out to them, or you're really sharing something that's really important to you. If they're not actively listening, that's a source of stress. Believe it or not, it may not be a high trigger stress like avoiding a car accident, but still it's a level of frustration, and frustration is stress. And so active listening is really important. And another piece, or a practical piece of active listening that's important, is when somebody is sharing or pouring out their heart and you're having a moment where you are present for them and you're actively listening. Especially if it's on the heels of trying to reconcile, I think it's important for you to literally say back to the person what it is that they said. So if they're telling you, when I really felt really hurt when you didn't ask me how my day went because you knew I had a really big meeting. And so at that point, they can say, I hear you. I hear that I hurt you because I didn't ask you how your big meeting went. And I'm really sorry because that wasn't my intention, right? So you want to give it back to them. You want to really, active listening, or the practice of active listening is saying what the person is saying so that they feel heard. So active listening not only is being present, but it's making sure that the person feels heard in the conversation and the relationship. Because again, what this is creating is emotional connection and emotional intimacy. So those are some of this specifically, the active listening helps you to stay focused, because I don't know if you've been in a situation where you've been in a conversation and it may be a little heated, an intense time of fellowship, right? And they're saying something and the only thing you're thinking about is what you're going to say next, right? What you're going to say, you're not even listening to what they're saying because you want to get your word in and you want to get what you have to say in. That's not active listening. So active listening is being present and literally giving feedback to what the person is saying so that they feel heard. So next one is coping skills. Time management is critical in dealing and overcoming stress in your relationship. And so how do you manage your time in your relationships? One method is to create a to-do list. That helps a lot of people. To develop a routine is another way. To prioritize. I'm terrible at prioritizing. I have like 10 things to do and they're all like A's. A. So I'm in the process of getting better at time management because I think everything's a priority. And it's not, right? So prioritizing, creating a to-do list, having a routine, setting goals is important, breaking down large projects. That also they call it chunking, where you can actually schedule your day where from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. you're spending time with God. From 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. you're checking your emails. From 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. you're exercising. All right. So that whatever it is that managing your time and your schedule is a huge stress reliever. It takes time, yes. initially, but once you've got it down, as opposed to try to manage everything and, you know, trying to juggle 20 balls, and it's just it's chaos, and it's chaos in your body, which can result in a lot of stress and in your relationship, right? If you're not managing your time well, it can easily be something that causes a lot of stress. One of the things also that I want to, I guess, put under the umbrella of time management is procrastination. Big stressor, right? When you are not managing your time well, and then you find that you're late everywhere, you're late all the time, you're procrastinating, you do things at the last minute, you really are not able to even give excellence to what you're doing because your time is not being managed well. And so one of the things I need to encourage you to do is to avoid procrastination. Ask for help. That's hard for some people, but ask for help. Share the load. Outsource if you can, if you need to, but don't do it all. You don't have to. You do not only are you not designed to do everything, it's just you can't do everything well, right? And so you do have to let other people know that you need help and when you need help. Another stress reliever tip or technique is exercise. Huge. If you are, now that you're prioritizing and you are managing your schedule in exercise, because this is something that's going to help sustain different levels of stress that you're going to be dealing with in life and in your relationship. So exercise is important. And we've got an amazing portal for you to go learn how to exercise more. Learn how to process negative emotions. This is a big one, right? So when something happens to you that's high stress, negative trauma, sometimes a lot of people internalize it. And then they're constantly thinking about it, constantly meditating on it, constantly having negative thoughts and emotions that they're experiencing on a daily basis, which is stress. It's stressful. It's only adding fuel to the level of stress that you're dealing with because you're constantly thinking about something negative. So in order when you're experiencing something negative, you have an opportunity to choose another thought, to choose to think differently, to choose to think more positively. This takes practice, but it really is just as simple as making a decision, right? As opposed to allowing the negative stress or the negative effects of stress and emotion to overtake you and overtake your thoughts. So another thing that is a technique in helping to deal with stress in your life and relationships is you may need to seek professional help, professional counseling or coaching or therapy. That is another strategy that may help you to deal with the different stressors in your life. And then eating healthy foods. Eating healthy foods is just as important as all of these other ideas and suggestions I've given you. Is eating healthfully, exercising. This is the foundation, right? This is the foundation for your body, the foundation for your health. Sleeping, getting enough sleep, enough rest in your body these three things are like pillars, right? If you have a chair and you only have two legs, you're going to fall. You're going to stand. You're not going to be able to stand, right? So you need to make sure that you have these things in place: eating healthy, exercising, and rest. And then the one that has totally blessed me is worship and prayer. Adding worship and prayer into your life helps to reduce stress in more ways than I can even explain verbally, because you have to experience it. You just have to experience it. When you spend time worshiping and prayer and literally giving your burden, but giving your stress over to God, you're not carrying it. The weight of it is really dissipates. And so these are my suggestions to you to help overcome or manage stress better and differently in your relationship. So please try some of these tips. We'd love to hear how it's working out for you here on Holy TV.
I know this episode was a blessing to you. If you want more information on the Holy Health and Fitness program and Christy Little Jones, please visit us at holyhealthandfitness.com. Also, remember to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you can know when we have new episodes posted. We thank you so much for your time, and remember, until next time, live whole, spirit, soul, and body.
Welcome to Holy Health and Fitness, where we help you to live whole, spirit, soul, and body.
We are the leading online health, fitness, and faith community that provides three-dimensional spirit, soul, and body information, support, and accountability.
Here you will have full access to daily meditations, transformational messages, mind-renewing tools and exercises, meal and workout plans, community encouragement and support, and a whole lot more.
Unlike other faith or fitness communities, we focus on the well-being of the whole person.
Our goal is to live whole
and to help you live whole.